Have you ever pondered the question, do enemies truly exist, or are they simply illusions we create within our own minds? The answer to this question may not be as straightforward as it seems. Let's delve into a tale that might shed some light on this concept. Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between the mountains, lived two families. The heads of these families, Joseph and Samuel, had a long-standing feud. The origin of their animosity was a trivial disagreement that had escalated over the years, turning them into perceived enemies. One day, a wise old man visited the village. He heard about the feud and decided to bring peace. He invited both Joseph and Samuel to a meeting. The wise man asked them why they considered each other enemies. Both men recounted their versions of the original disagreement, each blaming the other. The wise man then surprised them by saying, "You are not enemies, but victims of your own illusions." He explained that their hatred was not based on a significant event or difference, but on their perception of the past. They had created an enemy in their minds out of an illusion. The men were taken aback. They reflected and realized that their so-called enemy was just like them, a person with hopes, dreams, and fears. They had been trapped in a vicious cycle of illusion, fear, and retaliation, which only created more perceived enemies. The wise man's intervention helped them see the truth. They acknowledged that they were equals and there was no need for animosity. The illusion dissolved, and with it, their perceived enemy. They decided to bury their past and live in peace, proving that perceived enemies are often mere illusions. So, what can we glean from this story? Firstly, the concept of an enemy is often a creation of our own minds, based on illusions and misconceptions. When we perceive someone as an enemy, we are usually living in an illusion, clouded by fear and misunderstanding. Secondly, this illusion often leads to a cycle of fear, retaliation, and the creation of more perceived enemies. The world today is trapped in such a cycle, and it's up to us to break free from it. Lastly, by recognizing the truth that we are all equals, we can dissolve these illusions. This new perspective allows us to see the world differently without hatred or fear. We realize that we are all connected and should treat each other with unconditional love. In conclusion, the reality is there are no true enemies, only illusions. It's time for us to awaken to our authenticity and transform our minds. Remember, peace and harmony are just a shift in perspective away. When we do this, we break the cycle of violence and hatred and step into a world where enemies do not exist. As we delve deeper into nature, even in the animal kingdom, we can see examples of perceived enemies. Picture this, a lion and a gazelle. At first glance, they are arch enemies, one the hunter and the other the hunted. But as time passes, they learn a valuable lesson. They realize they are both part of the same ecosystem, integral to the balance of life itself. They learn to coexist, understanding that their survival depends on each other. This shows that even in nature, perceived enemies can learn to live in harmony, a testament that we too can achieve this harmony if we change our perspective.